Now it's my pleasure to introduce you to today's commencement speaker. He's one of our outstanding alumni and a successful business leader. Mr. Glenn Novotny graduated from Chadron State College in 1969 and later from the Harvard Business School program for Executive Management Development. He serves as a venture partner with Telegraph Hill Partners, a San Francisco-based private equity firm that invests in life science, medical device, and healthcare companies. Mr. Novotny also worked 17 years at Central Garden and Pet, 13 of which he served as CEO. He was responsible for taking the company public and growing its sales from $200 million to $1.7 billion. Prior to that, he was a CEO of Weyerhaeuser Garden Supply. He currently serves on numerous public and private boards of directors. In recognition of his outstanding accomplishments, Mr. Novotny was awarded the Chadron State College Distinguished Alumni Award in 2007. I'd also like to introduce Linda Novotny. Linda, please stand up. Linda is Glenn's wife, and she's a Nebraska native as well. We are honored that Mr. Novotny is able to join us today. So ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome today's speaker, Mr. Glenn Novotny.
Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is an honor for me to speak at your graduation. I graduated from here 41 years ago, before most of you were born. By the way, I graduated with average grades. And I had no idea I'd ever be up here talking to you as a commencement speaker. That was the furthest from my dreams. So you too can do the same thing. As I was sitting in this audience 41 years ago, I was thinking of several things, the least of which was to listen to the commencement speaker. I was, same as you are. I was thinking to myself, wow, I made it through college, and I worked full-time at the railroad down here at night shift for those 4 years. And oh yeah, I couldn't wait to get home because my brother from Wyoming, I brought a keg of Coors beer for us to celebrate. And at that time, Coors was only sold in Colorado and Wyoming, so that was very special. Needless to say, I didn't get a lot of sleep during those years, but I was committed to get my degree, and I did. I just wanted to get the diploma and start celebrating with my wife, Linda, 2 little daughters, and the rest of my family, because I was the first in my generation to ever graduate from college. So I'm going to ask you to listen closely for the next 15 minutes, and you will hear a few important things that I learned from experience that could impact the rest of your life as well. I'm speaking about lessons for making the right choice in life. Just like you, I made the choice to further my education. Just like you, I thought it would open doors of opportunity for me, and it did. See, life is a succession of choices. Of all life prerogatives, none in my judgment is more important or vital than the choices we make. You and I chose to go to college and graduate from this fine institution. That choice and many others that you have made brought you to where you are today. Your degree will open doors of opportunity for you as well, and it is now up to you to decide what you want to do when you walk through that door. Each of us is responsible for our own life and have been given the ability to choose what type of person we want to become. If you have not read the book, East of Eden by John Steinbeck yet, I recommend that you do. It is one of my favorite books. What it did is it gave me a real insight into what God gave each of us to have the power and the will to choose who we want to be and what we want to be. It is your responsibility to do the same and understand what you want to be in life. You see, you control your own destiny by how you think and talk to yourself and to others. You can be in control of almost everything that happens to you. So be careful of what you ask for, because you may well get it. Some things good, some things bad. Please do not become one of the persons that prefer an excuse rather than an opportunity. You see an excuse as an opportunity to become a permanent and continuing rationalization for doing nothing. The statement, I can't, is usually related to because. I can't because I'm too young, I'm too old, I'm too scared, or I'm just too scared to do anything. Too many of these I can'ts, and you're programming yourself for failure for the success that you deserve in life, and the happiness as well, and most importantly, limiting your self-esteem. And yes, you will experience tough times in your life. We all have. The question is how you deal with that adversity and what you learn from that. I now realize, looking back at my life, I learned much more from my failures and from my setbacks and my tough times than I ever did my successes. The key is to learn from those experiences and not make the same mistake twice if possible. My best advice when you're going through bad times is summed up in one of my favorite quotes from Winston Churchill. It is, if you find yourself going through hell, keep going. You see, life is a self-fulfilling prophecy. You are what you are and where you are because what has taken place and what you've been told so far in your life. You can change yourself by painting what goes into your mind. Words paint pictures. Words are powerful. It's difficult to rise above the words that have put into your mind so far. Therefore, paint your own canvas by choosing to put input positive images into your own minds and to others. Just like a computer, if you put garbage in, you get garbage out. And when you find yourself in the dumps, for whatever reason, thinking garbage, change the record and think about something else much more positive that will propel you towards your goal in life. Words are the keyboard strokes that set you free. The way you see your future controls your thinking of what you will become. Be bold and paint wonderful pictures for yourself. A vision for yourself matched with high self-esteem and determination will allow you to accomplish anything you want in life. As the old saying goes, aim for the stars and you may hit the moon. Aim low and you'll probably hit the dirt. As I look back, in one of the most important things planted in my mind as a very young age was by my mother. At that time, I was too young to realize the impact it made upon my life. As you can see in the audience, or you up close, I have big ears. Yes, and growing up, I was teased, especially by my brothers and other kids. They would call me things like Dumbo, or big ears, or things much worse than that. After my mother overheard me one day crying about that when I was a small kid, she came to me and she said, "Glenn, you are so lucky to have big ears. Your grandfather had big ears. In fact, he was so smart, he was the most successful man I ever met in my life. He could do anything. And by the way, with big ears, you can hear better than all those other kids with little ears, and you'll learn faster and be smarter. And someday I'll believe you'll be the president." Well, I believed her then, and I still do. Unfortunately, she passed away before she saw me become a president and CEO of a large public company. My grandson, who is 9 years old, is also blessed with big ears. You can guess what I'm doing with him and all my other little grandchildren, trying to program them for the success in their life and building their self-esteem. Self-esteem is important to everyone. Make the choice in your life to do the same for yourself, your children, and others you care about. It can and will make more of a difference than you ever realize for you and others. So as you go through life, choose to be a builder rather than a wrecker. The next big choice in life is to wisely choose who you want for friends. Friends will either build you up or they will bring you down. As the saying goes, especially here in Chadron State, it's hard to soar with eagles if you hang around with the buzzards. You're an eagle, act that way. One of the most important choices that most of you will make is who you marry. The one you marry should be the one that is the closest to you, your closest supporter, and your best friend. I was lucky and chose my wife, Linda, and I'm very thankful she chose me. We've been married for over 45 years. We have 4 children, 9 beautiful grandchildren, and 2 granddogs. And yes, we spoil the granddogs too. So, and by the way, she's my first girlfriend I ever had. We've gone together since she was a freshman in high school and I was a sophomore. And that was before I got into business, understood market surveys, market research, and all other stuff. But I knew a good product when I saw it, and I grabbed it and kept it for life. So, make your choice in life to surround yourself with friends who will build you up, not tear you down. Another choice is to get outside your comfort zone and dare to do big things. Especially your age, you don't know any better. Go do it. Take risks and see what happens. As I said earlier, I graduated from here in 1969. I hung around Chadron after graduating, continuing to work for the railroad, and thinking I was going to join the Air Force because I'd been accepted to the Officers Candidate Training School, and I was supposed to go that fall. So I kind of hung around, and this was just as the Vietnam War was winding down, and the economy was very much as it is right now. And the Air Force called me and said, well, we're going to cut back on recruiting now so you don't have to come. Okay, there went my plan A when I graduated from college. So I continued to work around the railroad until February of 1970, when a blizzard came through, like it only can do here in Nebraska. And I was working on the railroad that night, switching boxcars. I got so damn cold that I didn't care whether I lived or died. I came home after working 12 straight hours on that railroad and told my wife I didn't go to college to freeze my tail off. I probably said worse than that, but I'm quitting the railroad and we're moving to Oregon. 2 weeks later, we packed everything we owned in a small U-Haul trailer, and we headed west with no job and $500 in savings. I was young, I was confident, but I was also scared to death what would happen to us, and I had a family to raise as well. We literally were flying with no net, and sometimes it's good in life to fly without a net, because all the fruit is at the end of the limb, you have to go get it. We wound up in the state of Washington by accident, and I found a job as a first-line supervisor in a logging operation on the shoulders of Mount St. Helens before it blew up. Now, believe me, Chadron State didn't teach me how to be a first-line supervisor, but I learned very quickly. So that risky decision to move somewhere west with kind of a goal in mind was probably one of the best decisions I made in my life. It also showed me that when a door closes, a window opens if you have the confidence in yourself that you can take advantage of whatever comes your way. It will work out for the better. You can achieve anything you want in life as long as you're willing to sacrifice what it takes to get it, and then setting a plan in action on how to accomplish it. The key to any large goal is to think big and act small, not the other way around. Here's an example. I used to be an active jogger. Actually did the New York Marathon years ago. I know I don't look like it now, but actually I did. And I used to run a lot. And in 1 year I set a goal to run 1,000 miles a year. You're probably going, what the heck was he thinking? Well, it sounded impossible, but actually it's very easy. There's 52 weeks in a year. So that means I'd have to run about 20 miles every week, or 5 miles every other day. So about every other day. And if I did that every other day, I'd have my 20 miles a week times 50. Bingo, you're at 1,000 miles. I also kept a running log on a piece of graph paper, piece of graph paper. Every time I ran, I marked off 1 square for 1 mile. And I did that so I could measure my progress. At any given time, I could look at that graph and knew whether I was ahead of or behind my plan. The key was to set big goals, break it down into easy, small steps, and have the commitment and the determination to follow through on those. I now have 20 plus of those graphs that I've kept now, and I marked every time I ran with where I was and what date. I have those from running all over the world. So how do you think I became a president and CEO of a very large $1.7 billion public company with over 5,000 employees spread around the world? You see, I had a vision and a goal when I was very young, about your age. And I wanted to be a successful executive in a big company. Didn't know quite which one, but I knew I wanted to do that. I knew that would require me to work harder than anybody else. So first of all, is to work hard. Be willing to take on tough jobs sometimes other people didn't want to do, and perform in a superior manner that would attract my superiors to see my performance and make me eligible for promotion. I also recognized the importance of having common sense. And by the way, common sense is much more important than you ever realize. A lot of people have PhDs, whatever else, but a lot of them don't have common sense. Common sense will get you through life every time. And the ability to work well with people above me, beside me, and below me. You have to get along with everybody to succeed. It also required making sacrifices and moving my family around the country, continually improving my self-education, developing my leadership and people skills, and doing the things I had to do to reach my goal. So you see, I also took this big goal and broke it down into small steps that allowed me to achieve my goal in being a president of a company. As the saying goes, Success doesn't come to you, you go to it. Go to the success you desire. Now, if each of you in this room, all you graduates, have already set a goal to get your degree, you were willing to sacrifice something to get in your life to get what you wanted. Each of you sacrificed 4 more years. Just out of curiosity, how many of you did it in 4 years? Congratulations. All my kids, by the way, took 5 years. You did this by breaking down that time into small increments of semesters, and you also knew you had to work hard to get the grades to earn the degree that you will have the rest of your life. That small decision that you made turned into something big, and it was simply a mind over matter. People are like turtles. We'll only make progress when we stick our necks out. Finally, the most important choice of all is to choose happiness. You have the choice every morning when you wake up to be happy or not. If you have other plans, then that's your problem. Choose to be happy. There is one important consideration, however, you must heed. There can be no happiness as long as the things you believe in are different from what you have been raised with and what you have to be in alignment with your beliefs, your ethics, and your morals. Remember, people will always pay attention to what you say and what you do, so be aware of your actions. Be kind to people, and they will be kind to you all over the world. You can be, do, think, and have anything you want in life. I think Mark Twain said it best. Happiness is like a sunset. It is there for all to enjoy, but some people choose to look the other way. Choose to look at the sunset and go for that. And remember, people enjoy being around other people that are happy, not sad or down. So choose the ones who are up. They will lift you up as well. So the choice is yours. You only have to create positive expectations and set lofty goals for yourself. You have heart, you have brains, and you have courage, and therefore you have determination. If you think you can, you're right. If you think you can't, you're right. It is your choice. What lies behind you and what lies ahead of you pales in comparison with what lies within you. Congratulations upon your graduation. May all of you blessed in the years to come. You can do it even if you don't have big ears. Thank you.